Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have two tea in the streets today, kind of two different directions. So we're going to start off with the one that's a little heavier, and then we'll go, they're both kind of heavy, but we're going to start off with the one that's a little bit more heavy. So I don't know if you guys heard about this, this case that happened. I feel like a lot of people aren't really talking about it. So there was a young woman named Sade Robinson in Milwaukee. She's 19 years old. So she met this guy. His name is Maxwell Anderson. She's 19. He's 33. So there's already a kind of weird age gap there.
Right.
They went on a first date. They got some seafood. They went and got drinks after, and then she went back to his house. She had her own car, so she drove back to his house, met up with him, and she went missing. And her family was looking for her, and then last week they found a piece of her body. He murdered her and unalived her and dismembered her body. And they are still trying to find the rest of it to kind of see what else she may have gone through. But
I think the reason why I agreed to put this up as hard as it is that we have to be careful. There are a lot of women going out here on these dating apps that they are meeting these random people because we're so desperate for connection. You understand?
Yeah.
And that connection is coming with a cost. And we are, this young lady, 19, should have been a red flag, a 30-year-old wanting to connect. But again, you would think this person, charming, really a nice guy, and she was safe.
And he came from an affluent family as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so something was off because, again, we're living in a time where we want connection. We want stability. Yep. And we're just putting ourselves in danger. So I wanted to kind of talk about that when, and then Milwaukee, hasn't it been an area that in the past a lot
That's
of people,
where Jeffrey Dahmer lived and committed crimes.
Yes. And it kind of went on for a long time.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to kind of have some commentary.
And she's so
on
beautiful.
Beautiful.
Very beautiful. I'm glad we're talking about it though, because she is such a young woman. And I think a lot of like the dating culture now and hookup culture, I don't know if that's what she was doing. I'm just saying a lot of hookup culture is you go to somebody's house that you just met.
Yeah.
And they're still speculating how they met, whether it was online or I think he came into her job and maybe introduced himself there or something. I don't know. But I don't know. You kind of want to trust the people that you're on a date with, but you really don't know
them. I think again, we give that word trust out just like it's okay.
Yeah.
Give me some commentary on this.
So I don't know all of the details of this case, but I know for myself, I'm very I'm gonna let you know, baby, I got a piece.
Yeah, it's that military.
And I'm not the one, okay? But in a lot of situations, even with that, like if someone intends to harm you, there's very little that you can do if that's the case, because to be honest, and a lot of people have said when they've survived things like this, that it's literally like a demonic spirit that the person's face, everything changes. So, but
you don't know until you know.
You don't know until you know, honestly. But I think it's so important to take precautions. I'm very big on really getting to know people. I met someone somewhere randomly some years ago, and immediately upon exchanging numbers, they were like, "Hey, can I take you out?" And I was like, "No, like I need to talk. I need to get to know. Like you might not even need to waste your money,
right?
To be honest,
right?
Like let's talk and get to know each other,
right?"
And I think it's also really important that we have boundaries. My boundary is you don't even need to know where I live. I'm meeting you wherever we're going to go for the first few days.
Exactly.
Like I don't even need to ride in a car with you. I don't need to go to your place. You don't need to go to my place. We need to go we need to go places where there's a lot of people. And when we leave. And again, even with those things, because I'm not saying that she didn't do these things because I don't know the details of the case, but even with doing those things, sometimes they're I
Things
mean,
can
they
still
follow
happen.
you home.
Right.
Like those,
Right.
if someone intends to do that, there's, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But there are precautions, because I do think that sometimes, especially like with a lot of dating happening on social media, where they have like Facebook dating and things like that, and people just falling into the DMs, you do start to feel like, well, I see this person's profile, I know who they are,
It's got to be a real person, huh?
Right. And you start to feel safe, almost like you go to high school with them or something, but you really don't know people.
Yes.
Even if you see all of their stuff on their profile, you do not
even people
know them.
I know. I'm looking sideways.
You don't know them.
You know,
and when
don't ask me nothing personal. Yeah,
right.
I mean,
but when I see cases like this too, because I watch a lot of the true crime TV, I'm always like, because everything is with God. I'm just like, how? And it's very important to use discernment. I actually talk about this in my course, like, before I go out on dates, just like when I was in high school, my dates had to come to the door and meet my dad. I'm asking my dad, like, okay, I don't know this person,
Come on,
but
now, you asking your dad.
And and I've even been on dates where before I leave, I'm like, let me know if there's anything I need to see. And people will make comments, and that's your time to be listening and asking important questions while you're enjoying the date. But there were comments that have been made on the first date where I knew, okay, I'm not going out with you again. And it's really important to use discernment, even for those of us that are like, you need to have discernment and not just rely on it feels good, he feels nice.
Because it could cost you your life.
And
get past the looks and all that kind of stuff.
And the car and the money spent.
Well, again, that goes back to you. What are you? It's that hookup thing. It's that thing that need
that
to
desire.
Look a certain way, or that desire to look a certain way for your friends and for the social media, the look. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You're putting yourself in. And again, we're not saying that's the situation with this young lady. For me, it's more about awareness, and then also it's not being talked enough about. You know, when there is something so horrible that is happening to African American women, it's almost like it's just okay. We talk about and you move on. We just need to be careful. Period. We just need to be careful.
Stop getting so.
Just
Brother Carter got to say this here. To the ladies out there, you know, and to some of the brothers out there also, you know, stop getting so excited because somebody look a certain way saying hi to you. You know, really, it goes back all the time to what I said earlier this morning. Embracing that individual in the mirror, you know, loving that individual, not needing affirmation from someone else, and see, and a lot of time people are falling into that trap because they're not feeling wonderful about themselves. So this nice looking man or nice looking woman, we fall into it too as men. No, we married and all this stuff, and then the cute little girl said, "You're so funny, Mr. Lawrence." And Mr. Lawrence, all his teeth start showing. Yeah. I'm just saying. Don't get into that, honey.
And I think it's really important too, because this man had been arrested for domestic violence before.
Oh, wow.
And I believe a DUI as well. And there's obviously the sex offenders list as well. I don't know if he was on it. I'm just saying, I think it's also, those are all public resources that I think a lot of people don't even think to Google people. You know what I mean? You kind of just trust this image that people put themselves out to be, whether it be on social media or in real life. But all those resources are free to just look up.
Take the time to get to know the person before you really.
That's a sad case.
Homeboy in law enforcement and look it up.
And also, do not go to people's homes on the first date
or second
or the second. And also be cautious about drinking on the first date. In my opinion, I tell my clients, if you want to have a cocktail to knock the nerves off, you have that cocktail at home before you go. And you order a regular drink. You need to be as cognitively aware and sober as you can with your first, second, third, fourth, fifth exchange with an individual that you do not know.
100%.
You do not know this person. You know what they're telling you.
Right.
Don't let your guards down. I love that.
Go into it with the I don't trust you mentality. I do not trust this individual.
When I was dating, these men were mad at me because I would bring a friend. fine. Hey, can I take you out? Yeah. And so my homegirl, she's gonna come too.
There you go.
And they'd be like, "Oh, you and my parents? Yeah,
yeah.
Yes, you are.
Me and my girl, we coming."
Yeah.
I said my mom, the license plate number. My mom is always tracking me on Life 360.
Yeah,
I have
same.
something on this iPhone where if I press a button, it sends my location and says somebody is following me. People say like conspiracy theories. No, I'm being extra cautious because the Bible says to be careful for nothing.
Nothing. Your
Just because
life
you
is
don't-
important.
But through all things, through prayer and supplication.
I want to return home safely.
Yes.
And I don't want to have to be the one to unalive somebody else's kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I'm definitely
To
bringing that
protect.
thing on the day.
We're going to have a nice
You
day.
We're not talking
We
about
must.
unaliving
We
folks
must.
on the Love and
I'm just
Victory
saying.
show.
Well, what we're talking about is really protecting
Yeah.
Being careful.
ourselves.
Yeah.
And protecting. That's
Absolutely.
exactly
And it's
what they're
sad that we
saying.
have to do that,
Yeah.
but
But it's the
You
truth. I think on here, you have to really put yourself in a situation that I want to come home safely to
Yeah.
my family. And so we have to stop this thing of being in such a hurry
Yeah.
to get that connection instead of getting that connection.
Because it's some smooth
That's-
criminals
yeah.
out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smooth criminals
Aaron
out there.
said she had something. We're going to take this real quick and get this rolled.
Yeah, just real quick. I think whether you're a part of hookup culture or you're looking for something long term, just because the dating field is literally so gray these days, like, I don't know, like in America, at least, we kind of have this idea that like once you turn 18, when it comes to dating, like your parents or like your close friends, like they're hands off. But if anything, I feel like they should be more hands on, not just for accountability for what standards you want to hold to yourself, but for the community that you say that you're being a part of, right?
Mhm.
So like if you want to fly loose and everything, you should still have like those safety barriers. People being like, hey, like I know you think that guy's cute and like he's flirting and all that, but like he kind of gross. Like he kind of said
Yeah.
this, he kind of said that. You know, just like
Well, I
get some
think
receipts.
I
right?
think that is,
Y'all can go and go, girl. I'm going with him.
No, you're not.
No.
yeah,
No,
no,
you
accountability.
Snatch your phone.
Yeah.
Snatch that wig off.
It's worth it.
Who you really are. Come on.
It's worth
leave
it.
it together.
It's worth it even if your friend gets mad at you. If you show up together, you leave together.
Together.
Even if
Yeah.
your friend's mad, she's yelling at you, I want to go home with him. Nope.
No.
You can come home with me, and then what you choose to do after that is your business. But I'm making sure that you are home at the place that we left from.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
And to all of y'all's point, it's important to like let your people vet people, because sometimes when you just are into the person
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, he's so fine, you don't see it, but your friend, there's not been any situation I've ever been in where my friends did not call it.
Ooh,
Facts.
right there.
They
Facts.
know.
They know.
They know.
Yeah.
And when the drinks start hitting, boy, people start looking real good.
You know, I feel like accountability should be a sixth love language, honestly.
Okay, then.
Because we got the 5 accountability could be numbers.
I like that.
I like that.
Before we move on to the next Teen the Streets, I just want to say rest in peace to Sade Robinson.
It's
Yeah.
a sad
Poor
story.
baby girl, she did not deserve what she
Yeah.
And prayers for
For her family.
for her
Yeah.
family. Yes.
Truly prayers for her family. Not making it light, but that's
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
So this next Teen in the Streets, we're gonna gotta go through this quickly. But this next one is about TD Jakes and P Diddy, because y'all know they're besties. They're
They
doing
back-
their
they
stuff.
Back on the scene again.
Uh-huh.
They're not back. No, Diddy's not back on the scene.
They ain't left.
He is too. He got too many eyes on him. But I'm gonna play a quick video that'll kind of explain everything, so I don't gotta regurgitate. Y'all ready?
Ready.
So TD Jakes is allegedly finally stepping down after he was mentioned in Diddy's lawsuit, after months of speculation. And let me tell you right now, everyone saw this coming. In a recent lawsuit, music mogul Sean Diddy Combs is accused of sexual harassment, illegal drug activity, and sex trafficking. The suit references Bishop T.D. Jakes as someone Combs allegedly hoped would help improve his image. Gene Deal has confirmed that this was the case.
And he also claims that, Diddy, he was using T.D. Jakes to fix his image. You believe it?
Well, we saw that to be true anyway. That's what he was trying to do all that time. That's why T.D. Jakes was there. To try to fix his image. Ain't no money like church money.
When I grew up in the church, the sinners was not supposed to have the same atmosphere with the saints. You have to be able to separate the two. So I'm looking at him as a saint going to a party that ain't nothing but sin. Drinking, maybe fornication, man on man, woman on woman, he on she. But maybe he had to lay some hands on somebody. Maybe he had to save some souls. I know he got a contract with Revolt, so I'm just like, it's just real strange that he would be found at any kind of Diddy party or any kind of place with Diddy unless it's in a business atmosphere.
Yes. So it is also alleged. Well, I look, everything I saw said that TD Jakes is stepping down as pastor.
Okay. So here's what we're going to say, allegedly, until we get, I just want to say this. Here's my whole part with this. I have a real issue with God has called you to be over a flock of people. There is a huge responsibility that comes with that, from where you go, who you hang out with, what you do. As Brother Carter said earlier, who had no idea this was going to come up, said he knew what the qualifications were to be a preacher.
Yep.
And so he said he dare not step into that because he still like a little wine, And so
that'll be cognac.
Okay. So not trying to make light of that, but really trying to speak to the people that are out there that are wanting to stand in the pulpit.
Yep.
I'm not judging you. We like to say we can't speak over a man of God. Well, when you start doing ungodly things,
Come on, talk about
then so I have a problem. Again, we like to say, don't put your mouth on the man of God. Well, again, when you start doing ungodly things, and hanging out and I know I'm making people uncomfortable.
No,
but you understand.
Then
there is a responsibility that you have, and what you do is you put all of these other ministers out there that truly love God, that are really pouring into God's people. You put them under a spotlight.
Absolutely.
And so I kind of want to this conversation is not so much about Diddy. It's about what's happening to God's people and the responsibility that men of God have over God's people.
First, let me jump in real quick on this. If you're looking for a perfect man of God, you're not going to find him. Period. End of the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead.
having said that, there's still a certain level, should I say, that the man of God, a certain street, he should not be going on, and it's called broad. So I really don't know what to say on this because it's affecting the whole body of believers. Go ahead, Sade.
Just go there.
Yeah.
Somebody need to hear it.
And again, for me, because it's not about him particularly, but like you said, it's a bigger conversation. And what I think we're seeing, because there's a lot of different things coming out about different people. What we're seeing is things come to the surface that have always been happening. Like this is not, and I think a lot of people that are in church can look at this like, oh, this is an attack on the church so that it has this bad image to the world. And it's like, no, it's not. And as a matter of fact, if I'm being honest, I believe in that God will not protect the reputation of people at the expense of his sheep.
Come on.
He's not going to protect your reputation. And I know in my own life, right? Because I teach and I recognize, like Brother Carter was saying earlier, like there's a responsibility when you are a representative or an ambassador of the kingdom of heaven, right? I recognize that there's a standard, and I recognize that even when I'm not teaching, and this is just something that I've been dealing with personally, some of the places that I was going, or like I would smoke hookah when I would go to certain places. And I started to feel this conviction like, man, if somebody that I taught Bible study to, or somebody that I witnessed to saw me doing this, would this be misleading to them in the way that they should live their life? And I feel a weight to, okay, God, I don't want to do this no more. And right now I might be struggling with it, but ultimately I want to obey you, right? And I think it's very scary to have people that and I always come back to the congregation, the sheep, we prop up and put on these platforms.
Yes.
When we care more about being exposed for what we're doing by the people than the knowing that God sees you.
Yeah.
You have to answer to him, regardless if these people never find out about what you're doing.
Yeah.
He sees you.
Right.
And you do not get to live two different lives. God is the only God in the history of any religion that says you only get me, or you can go with whatever else you want to go with.
Right.
Like you got to choose, right? And I think it's important for anybody, not just him, because I believe that these things are lessons for all of us, because people get to these heights and they fall hard.
Yes.
Well,
It's
we're
important
living
for
in
all
an
of us
era
to
right
be
now where
cautious
God
of,
is just pulling that sheep clothing off,
because he's not going to let things continue
on.
because it's going to mislead people that are coming into the body of Christ, and he can't have that.
And I think in addition to what you both are saying is we have idolized these people and we have made them God in our lives.
Yes.
True.
And he is jealous.
Yes. He's made it clear. Yes.
He's made it clear that you will have no other God before me.
Yeah.
And so I believe that we are in a season, and I think this is the first of many, that the truth and allegedly, right? Because I don't know the whole story.
Right.
But I know that some of these things shouldn't have been taking place. Like you said, that way is broad, right?
Yes.
The way that leadeth to destruction is broad. And I just believe that we're going to see more things like this happening because we have put these people above God. We look to them before we look to God. And I believe that the Lord is removing everything that will be a barrier in our relationship with him.
Every idol.
Every idol.
Every idol will
must
fall.
be cast down.
Yes.
And you have to understand, there's a camera on every block right now. So there's no more hiding.
True that.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's no more hiding places.
Yes.
So if you are a person that's playing a role,
Come on now.
you will be revealed.
Yeah.
Sooner or later,
Yeah.
the truth
It's gonna come
will
out.
catch up to you.
But God is so good to try and get our attention in private.
Yes.
And that's why when these things happen, I know you've been warned.
You've been warned.
Yes.
The Bible says that mercy rejoices over judgment.
Come on
That
now.
it is his mercy. He gives us an opportunity to change, multiple opportunities to change. In private, he sends people our way to correct us in private.
Yes.
But when we don't take heed, he cares so much about your soul that he would allow your reputation. He's a good father.
There's one of my favorite Bible teachers. He was telling a story of this man who used to be this great pastor, had a huge following, and he ended up going to prison for like embezzling funds and all of this other stuff. And he went to visit him in prison. And when he was talking to the man, he was saying that this was the Lord's doing that I'm in here, and I'm grateful that I'm in prison. And he was like, well, why is that? And he was like, because like God put me here in order to save my soul so that I can at least go be with him. My reputation here is tarnished, but at least when I leave, like he had to put me back in this humble place so that I can really follow him again. And he was asking him like, well, do you do ministry in here? He said, no, I'm a manipulator. I'm a liar. Like I can't handle any level of attention or I can't handle it. So I'm good to just be here and serve. But at least I know that when I leave here, I get to go spend. And that's what the Lord will do. So even when we look at these people, like, and it's a theme all throughout the Bible, he just wants you to turn back to me. That's all you got to do.
Oh, Lord,
I'm not trying to take you out, but I'm not going to allow you to continue to hurt people. And
my people.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
The last thing that I want to say about this is I was watching the sermon of TD Jakes. Maybe this was about a month and a half ago. And this was when everything was first coming out. And he has on like a red suit and he makes a comment and he says, even if I did the things that people said I did, all I have to do is go to God and ask for forgiveness.
We talked about that.
That was a red flag for me.
Yes.
And it my spirit, it made me nauseous.
Yes. Yes, to think that I knowingly did wrong and all I have to do knowingly. And I'm sitting up there in this place of leadership over God's people. And I'm then so boldly and so cocky that I'm going to say, well, if I did, why would you not just say I didn't do it? But if I did, I just go to God.
And asking for forgiveness and repentance are two different things.
And you saw the selfishness in that. It wasn't that I apologized to the people I led astray.
Yes.
It was about himself.
Yes. Yes.
And so when you're just apologizing for yourself, there's still all those elements
Absolutely.
that you left behind and you didn't give a hoot about because you ain't mentioned none of that.
We're gonna have to move on down.
Allegedly.
We're gonna move on down the road.
All right.